I'm tired and I'll be like, I'm German. Because I know they're not going to ask anything else.
Yeah, you don't want to get into it.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it. Like sometimes I just don't want to talk about it. And then if I'm in Germany, if I'm going out, sometimes I a lot of times said like, no, I was born and raised in Dominican Republic. I've only been living here the past few years because I never felt like I belonged in Germany.
So today we're joined by Nikita Puls, all the way from Cabrera. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
How was the trip?
It was relaxed, all chill. I love driving.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the nicest trips for me coming from Santiago or going out of Santiago is to the North Coast.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially that road, like
Yeah.
from Cabrera to Santiago. It's like very green and curvy. It's nice.
are you talking about through Pedro? I mean, through
When you go to Sabaneta
through Sabaneta?
Yeah.
Okay. Because
before, yeah.
there's the three ways depending on which part you're going to that we through Maimon, through Sabaneta, and through which is the other one, the third one, all the way up Jamal al Norte.
Yeah, Hamada Norte is the one.
Yeah.
Okay, he usually likes going through.
I do not. I don't like any of those roads.
Oh, you don't like,
I
but you
usually go-
prefer one of them.
Yeah. I like going through la calle turística.
Yeah.
That's the one I like.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nikita, when someone asks you where you're from, what do you usually say?
I usually say I'm from Dominican Republic, but my parents are German.
Okay.
That's my that I trained that answer now.
You, like,
I always say the same
recorded it.
thing. Yeah, because yeah, if I say I'm from Dominican Republic, people will be, but yeah, you don't look like it, and which is
Right.
true. I guess I don't know. But
I mean,
yeah.
you can't really say what a Dominican looks like.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Exactly.
what does a Dominican look like? Because I've gotten this all my life. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, you look like you're from
Yeah,
India.
you don't look
Yeah.
that Dominican.
You're from Brazil. You look like I've gotten so
Right.
many odd countries that, the more research I do on them, or if I were to visit them, like some of them I visited, and I'm like, coño, there is people that look like me there, But what does, I still maintain, what does a Dominican really look like? Because unless you have a plátano and you're like talking like, you know what I mean? Like a Dominican,
There's no like, oh, this is this is a Dominican looking
Like a
person.
certain profile.
There's a variety of Dominican looking people,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My question also is, what is their response? Like, do you get like surprised looks or like, oh really, or like, because it's not something that's typical.
Yeah. No, usually I say, okay, I'm from Dominican Republic, but my parents are German, and people are like, yeah, I was gonna ask you that because you don't look Dominican. That's always the answer that I get. And if I just say, I'm from Dominican Republic, which I mean, like, I was born there, I grew up there, like here in DR. This is why I say I am from here. But people mean, like, no, but where are you really from? Like, what, the typical questions. So, yeah.
That's so interesting because in the US, and probably I don't know if you feel the same way because you lived in like a different type of area, but I've got that all my life. And that's something that people, first generation Americans, especially like myself, would say often is like, oh yeah, where you really from? Is like, well, I mean, so then where are you from? It's like, you're not from here either unless you're indigenous person. Like,
Yeah.
and so it's odd. I've never really thought about, like, I've been here almost 2 years now living here, right? And I've been coming here since I was a kid, but we would go up to the campo and stuff. And now living here and traveling throughout the country, especially the North Coast and those areas and areas where there are more like foreign people that came, decades ago, like in Las Terrenas, a lot of Europeans there as well. I've seen how normal this is, and I'm like, wow. And at first it was like a little bit surprising, but at the same time is also, logical because it's really more my fault for not knowing more about this country. And now that I live here, is one of the things I love is I get to actually learn about the country that my parents are from. So,
I never had that hesitation when I'm like in the US and someone asked me, okay, where I'm from, I'm Dominican. Right?
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah,
But you were born and you
I was
grew up-
born here.
Oh, okay.
Right? I still feel both. I feel both American and Dominican. But if I'm in the US and it's like, oh, where are you from? If it's like another like Hispanic, they probably want to know because am I Puerto Rican? Am I
Mm.
Mexican? Whatever, right? Like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'm Dominican. And if it's just an American, it's like, no, I'm Dominican.
That's
You know?
interesting you say that, because I was just thinking the same thing as you said it. It depends who's
Who
asking
you're
you, right?
talking to,
Right.
yeah.
Because if it's like a white American or African American, well, it would even African American, I'll put it probably in the same
Yeah.
bucket as like
Mhm.
a Latino.
They
Actually,
want to know,
for
like,
me.
where you from?
Yeah, well, like
Right,
where
right, right.
Dominican, and it's true. I would say always Dominican, but I also lived in a couple places in the U.S. I didn't always live in the same area, and so I sometimes would say, like that, like what do you mean, where here in the U.S. or where does my family come
Yeah,
from? Is the
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But Dominican was always I
Yeah.
always identified as like a Dominican.
I think
since,
it also depends what conversation do you want to have in that moment. Like sometimes I'm tired and I'll be like, I'm German. Because I know
Mm.
they're not gonna ask anything else.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you don't want to get into it.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it. Like sometimes I just don't want to talk about it. And then
Yeah.
if I'm in Germany, if I'm going out, sometimes I a lot of times said like, no, I was born and raised in Dominican Republic. I've only been living here the past few years because I never felt like I belonged in Germany.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah.
So in Germany, do you say, if someone asks you where you're, like,
I'll be like,
you're Dominican
yeah,
or
I'll
you're
s-
Dominican German?
no,
What?
I'll say I was born and raised in Dominican Republic. But when I was living there, I was like, but I live here now, or I study here now, or like that. But I
Got it.
wanted them to know there is another background there because I don't feel completely German
Yeah.
or like I belong. Yeah.
You know what's funny? Dominican Bridge, I hear from like our community that um we're not 100% on one side or the other
Mm.
of like the culture. Like we've heard that before. Like if you're in the US, well, are you like who's an American? Or are you just Dominican? And then here it's like, are you Dominican or are you American?
Ni de aquí ni de allá.
That was gonna be the
Exacto.
name of the
The
podcast.
podcast,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's true because if you grow up with two different cultures and stuff, you never really feel like you belong. It's also like a lot of people from here, when you're from here, then they're going to be like, no, you're not Dominican. But when you're in Germany, they see that you might be a little bit different. Or when you're in the States, then also
Right.
they always like, when you're at the place, it's always you're different. And then you never really belong. So I guess we're from everywhere. I don't
Yeah.
know.
What would you say is like a moment where maybe you're in Germany and it's like you notice or you felt like, oh, someone notices that I'm different?
Well, in boarding school, I was in boarding school for 4 years, and it was like I constantly got things like, "Oh, well, you come from the jungle," or like things like that all the time. And that was a moment where it really felt like it. Also, when I moved to Berlin and I went to a bilingual school, I quit boarding school and went to a more mixed school because I was like, I can't do this anymore in this very German boarding school. So I changed to a school that was full of people from Ecuador, Mexico, Dominican Republic. Like it was a very international school, I would say. And I was like, yes, I'm
This is the
fine here.
place.
And I can talk Spanish again. Like I also miss speaking Spanish. And yeah, those were the times. Yeah.
Do you feel more comfortable like speaking in Spanish in general?
I feel most comfortable speaking Spanish and English, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. But I love reading in German. So,
Interesting.
and listening in German, like podcasts and stuff. I listen in German. Really
Yeah.
depends.
And let's talk about that a little bit, because you ended up moving to Germany for a while. That's what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
How long did when did this happen, and how long were you there for?
Like I was 13, 14, and then I was in Germany, I think, for 10 years. Yeah. And in between, I lived in Spain and in South Africa. Like I studied abroad. So yeah, but it was a while, and I never liked it.
Really?
Never.
You never liked Germany.
Germany, no.
How about
But you like the other places.
the other countries?
Oh, South Africa, I fell in love. I wanted to move there. Yeah.
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 I would stay there if I could.
What do
Wha-
you like about that area that DR didn't have? For
That's what
example?
Cape Town, South Africa?
Yeah.
Well, I was in Johannesburg for a year, and then I visited Cape Town in between, and then I went back there in 2023. And it was the people, like extremely artsy. There's a lot of then the history is very recent with everything that they have. So it kind of you feel like you're alive there because everything is so recent, which is and it's also creepy. Like the history there is very negative from a lot of countries, you know.
Yeah.
But in South Africa, it was just with the whole apartheid and everything. It's just so many things happening, and it just feels, and people were actually aware of everything that's happening there because it was so recent. Like, people are not forgetting the history about the place. It made it special. I don't know, but yeah.
Was there a specific time, like when you lived abroad in Germany and the other countries, where you knew that you were gonna end up coming back here?
No, actually, I didn't think I was gonna end up in the Dominican Republic. I didn't really, so I never felt at home in Germany, but I also didn't really pursue coming back to Dominican Republic either, because there's just so many things here that also didn't go well in my childhood. Like, there were a lot of memories that were not nice, so I connected that to the country, and I just wanted to move to a completely new place. Like, it was either going to be South Africa or Australia, and I've never been in Australia either.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah, I want to be like far away from everyone.
So
Yeah.
what would you say was like the trigger or like the moment where it's like, okay, I'm coming back to the DR?
Actually, I just moved to Cape Town to do an internship because I studied social work, right? And I was there just for 2 months, and I got the call my dad passed away. So yeah, I had to pack my things and go and handle everything because I'm the only one left basically that can take over the stuff. So that's how I came back. And then it was supposed to be 6 weeks, and it turned out 2 years now.
Wow.
Never
Nice.
left. So
Nice. That
yeah.
sounds like your timeline kind of with the 2 years.
Similar,
Yeah.
similar. I'm curious, what did your friends or like anybody that basically your friends at the time and maybe some family, what did they think when they heard that you were coming back
From here,
from Germany back to
um
DR?
well, they were all like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Like, what's happening?" Because I also still had an apartment in Germany with all my stuff, all
Hmm.
my
Mm.
clothes, all my bags, all of that. I don't have that anymore, right? So because I wasn't able to go back at the right time, I also lost everything, like all my furniture, all my clothings, like that I've collected over the years, you know? So I just came here with a suitcase, and that was it. But my friends were all like, you know, we weren't, I don't know, like, all the friendships kinda ended there, I would say, which yeah,
Back in Germany.
yeah, kind of like I kinda cut ties with everyone.
Did you leave like a lot of family back in Germany? Or is it like mostly your family's here?
My family is not very big, so I have my grandmother in Germany, in Berlin. She's my everything, and I wish she would move here with me, but it's difficult. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, and then my mom is here now,
Yeah.
so
After so much time away, was there anything that surprised you when you came back? Like anything that had changed that you were like, oh wow, it's a little bit different, or was it like a lot of the same?
honestly, it was a lot of like, "Wow, this is so typical." Like, I was like, "Wow, this feels like home." Like, even, and I didn't think that I would love it so much to be back. That was unexpected for me, more than anything else. Like, obviously some things have changed. There are more buildings. It's like,
It's more modern.
yeah, it's a little bit more modern, everything. But as a kid, you also see life differently than you do as an adult, right? So I left when I was 13, 14, and I didn't see the things that I see now as an adult. So generally everything was different. Like, I also visited the house that I grew up in, like the house that we had, and I in my memory it was a massive villa, right? And then I came in and I was like, "Oh my god, this house is actually so tiny." What? Yeah, so things like that. Yeah.
What would you say that your parents probably got right, and what have they maybe never really figured out about living here in DR?
Or moving here.
Oh my god. Okay. So what they did right, um I'm not sure. I guess they used the freedom that you have here in the Dominican Republic. Um, and what they did wrong is, or like didn't get right, I guess you lose yourself in it a little bit. And then you forget your moral responsibility that you have when you move to another country. You can't just be like a lo loco, you know? And I guess my dad did a lot, but he also kind of lost himself in a lot of different ideas and things. And with the freedom that you have here, you can do a lot of things, but you still have to be consistent with your things that you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right. And he was all over the place. So he was doing a million things. None of them worked properly.
The
So,
the thing that I hear about the DR is that there's a lot of freedom. So if you come here, you got to come with discipline.
Exactly.
right? Like you got to
Yeah.
know you got to enforce yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And you can make huge things here, but
Right.
you need to work for it and stay at it and be consistent with everything that you do because
Right.
nobody is going to hold you accountable here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would they go back and forth to Germany usually, or is it anything that they would talk about missing, uh, about like Germany?
Yeah, yeah. So I know that my mom, for example, she's here right now. She's not very happy. She's like, "Oh, there's so many things that are not going the right way. Like in Europe, it's everything is way more organized. I think when you get older, like your patience for things is just lower, right?" And back in the day, I know my dad even moved back to Germany for a while again because things weren't working out here. But then they were like, "No, this is not for us. We need to go back." And then they moved back to the Dominican Republic, and like it was back and forth, but I didn't grow up with my dad, right? So it was, I know that now from hearing from other people and everything, but I didn't live that with him. So
Gotcha. Was there? I would imagine because in that part of the country, like Las Terrenas in the north coast with Cabarete and
mm,
Sosua and those areas, there a good amount of like Europeans that like I've said earlier that been coming for decades for a long time. What like as you grew up, did you see that like newcomers coming in, and did you serve at any time like as part of a bridge between maybe Germany or Europe and the Dominican Republic, or that never happened?
no, no, because I grew up in Cabrera, it's a very small town, right? And we did have Canadians, Europeans, people from everywhere, and my parents would hang out actually mostly with people from other countries, like not that much in the Dominican community, but just because also of the job that they had, they were working in with tourists all the time, and me, I was just a kid. I was going to local schools here, so I was very much in the Dominican communities, integrated, and also playing with kids from the neighborhood. Like I was never really that much just school. Yeah.
Let me try to rephrase that a bit. So I know you know this, Anthony. In the U.S. and New York, there are like a lot of Dominicans. I know a lot of Dominican families where the parents don't know, speak a lot of English,
Mm,
and they have their kid like look at the paperwork, make
yeah.
phone calls, do this and that. That is not something that happened in your case.
No, yeah, yeah. I was definitely like I was my
You're the point
mom's
person for that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, my mom's Spanish was like she could survive, but it was not good. And it's still not good, but she can talk. She has a very strong accent and everything, but I was definitely better at it because I grew up here, right?
Mhm.
And her boyfriend at the time, I don't even remember if he spoke Spanish actually. I've probably broken also, but yeah, not sure.
What would you tell like foreign families from anywhere in the world that are planning to move here with young kids? Like, what advice would you give them that they might not be able to hear from anyone else?
Oof.
That's a good one.
I mean, just let them be. Like, don't be overprotective. Like, this is a country where a lot of people come here, but at the same time, they're kind of scared that it might be dangerous or whatever. But I feel like Dominican Republic is a very kids safe country. You
Mhm.
can come with your family here. Your kids can play outside, like, and actually enforce that your kids can play outside.
So you,
Go
you used to like go out and
I
play
was
with all
out
the
all the
everybody.
time. I was never home. We didn't even have a TV at home a lot of times. Like it's just and I would watch TV at the neighbor's house or like at friends' houses because we didn't have a TV and stuff like that. So we were doing a lot of things outside and horseback riding, going to the beach, like playing sliding down Kung Jawasing, the mountain, like stuff like that, and that was beautiful. Like that was a very nice childhood. Yeah.
That's what I remember when coming here from New York to the DR. All the kids are just outside playing, and in
Yeah.
the US is just not. You know,
In
You
Germany
notice,
either.
yeah, you
Like
notice that more like as you get older too, because that was not anything really different for me until I got older. Because when I was a kid in New York, that's what we did. We would go to Flushing Meadow Park. We would go, my parents or my mom and her friends would play bingo. We would be playing with some sort of ball, or like we had baseball games. This
yeah.
big park, Flushing Meadow Park is in Queens, and coming here, it was really much of the same. But yeah, to your point, as I got older, then I'm like, yeah, that doesn't really happen in the US
Yeah.
as much. But I grew up going to the park every day. Literally, my parents didn't know where I was.
Yeah.
My brother and I.
90s.
Yeah,
90s
the
kids.
90s.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
it
was
is.
just playing handball and basketball and whatever sport I could get my hands on.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
even with technology now. Like, I mean, I worked with kids in Germany, and all the kids are on their phones and everything. And even if they have the possibility to go out, they just don't do it. Also because it's cold and everything. Like, it's just different. And here you have the possibility, like, kids go out naturally also, and that's
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, if I think it's it's a perfect place for having kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what language do you think in? And has that changed over time?
Yeah. So when I moved to Germany, it was Spanish. And then when I was in Germany for a few years, it turned into German. And now, in the past few years, it's actually English. I even dream in English now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is it because of like the community? Like you have a lot of friends that they just mainly talk in English?
Yeah.
Where would you say that comes from?
It's my everyday, because at work, it's English. Social
Yeah.
media, it's a lot in English. I read a lot in English. Then also, like, for example, getting books. I prefer reading in German, but I'm in the Dominican Republic now. When I order from the States. So it's like
English.
complicated to get German books, so I get it in English, which I still don't like. But yeah, it changes. But I gotta say, it's a lot of English now. Yeah.
What would you? Because I feel like we resonate, even though it's like different cultures. Because obviously I'm not German. We kind of resonate on the mixing of the culture.
Mm.
Is there anything that you would want to say?
Like about mixed
Yeah,
cultures.
like that you feel is something that you would want to express to the world.
I think it's really important that people stop thinking in boxes. Like, we're in
Mm,
such a globalized world nowadays. Like, you really need to rethink the way we see people and things. Like, just because you look a certain way doesn't mean this and this and that, you know? Like, we know by now that we all have prejudices. We know by now that a lot of things that we assume at the beginning are not the way they actually are. Like, it's just, why do we have the same conversation over and over and over? It's like
yeah,
nobody's learning. I don't know.
and
And
labeling people.
yeah, and everybody's in the same boat. I mean, um, that's pretty much it. I'm like, just be open, and like, everybody also like belongs. Like, everybody has a place, you know? It doesn't
You know,
have to be one way.
this
But yeah.
this is why I like the community that we're pushing to build. It's like when we go to the events that we go to, we encounter people from all places, right? And it's like you're here. It's come with your experience, come with like bring yourself,
Mm,
and let's see how that meets with the Dominican Republic,
yeah.
right? Like I think that's what we're doing. Like
Yeah.
you're like the
Yeah.
embodiment of that.
Yeah, and a lot of people at the events. I mean, the Punta Cana event also, it's just a lot of people that either like moved away and then came back, or they're not even, they want to be connected to the Dominican Republic because their
Right.
family is Dominican, but they grew up over there and they want to come back to their roots. Like, I mean, they all have some type of connection like with that. So yeah.
Yeah, and just I love what you said, by the way. It resonates so much with me. Like Julio said, this is one of the reasons we made the community, is for it to be inclusive. Like sometimes, it's annoying to say, but we will get messages, and it doesn't happen all that often, but some of the small percentage of people that think this certain way just drives me crazy. And I understand everybody's different and
Mm.
everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but like como tú dijiste, like you said, is like, let's be inclusive. This world is for everyone. You don't have to, because you were raised at a certain place, be at a certain place, and you don't have to like not accept certain people. Like we got a message the other day, and they were asking if there's a section or some sort of, I don't know, the only
Subgroup.
Dominicans that decided to
Yeah.
come back and stuff. I'm like, why
Mm.
would you only want to be in a box of that?
Mm.
The
No,
point is to
absolutely
break
not.
the
Yeah,
box.
this is an inclusive community, whereas exactly is to have an openness about it, but there's different cultures, and we all our common ground is living here, but that's it. We've had all different types of experiences, and people think differently. And so
Mm.
why we wouldn't be any better than let's say things going on in another country that where that's a hot topic. It has been for since we were born in centuries where it's like who belongs, who doesn't belong. We all belong. Like this is a
Yeah.
world where we all belong anywhere, outside of whatever governmental policies and laws and ideologies that you may have.
Well, I think things like that come from a sense of wanting to be heard and belong, because a lot of times when we are from different cultures and so on, sometimes you were not accepted somewhere else. So when you finally find your people, or you come back, for example, to the Dominican Republic, and you're like, "Oh my God, finally." And then you have to mix up with other people again. I do understand where it's coming from. It's probably from a lack of something, but I mean, Dominican Bridge at the end of the day is about people who are trying to live here and are building a life here. So it's just not the right circle for it. But I mean, you can always find that if that's what you really want, or create it yourself.
Nice.
Yeah.